folks, so welcome back to another video. Got quite an exciting review for you guys today. Car's parked right in front of me there. It's actually a MK6 R with an RS3 engine in it. I'm at Eurospec Automotive. Gonna head out now. I'm gonna give you guys a little cinematic first, and then we'll give you guys a walk around. Right folks, so here we are with the MK6 R with an RS3 engine. We're here with Dawood,
hey,
the main man who's built the thing.
Started off from just a standard MK6 R. I bought the car and I toasted the engine within about a week of having it. I thought I'm not going to messing around with CDL or putting another engine into it or doing a big build. Instead I want to do an RS3 engine.
Yeah.
I've heard about the swaps, I've heard about other people doing into MK7 Rs.
Yeah.
I thought this time I'm going to put MQB running gear into MK6. So it's running the DQ500 MQB, it's running the MQB engine, it's running the MQB wiring loom, MQB ECU, and it's all been adapted to fit into the MK6 shell. Big
job then, essentially.
So it's not been straightforward. I've been tackled a lot of things, such as getting things like the dash to work, starter side of things, also ECU and throttle pedal, and just general wiring has been the main task of it.
Can imagine.
We've done it that well now that if I needed to ever pull the engine out, it's all on VAG connectors, everything unplugs and plugs in.
This is the one from the pre-facelift RS3, isn't it?
Yeah, so we got the SEPA, which was the 8J TTRS 340 brake.
Yep.
You got the Set B, which was European market 360 brake.
Yep.
Which were all the pre-face, such as the RS3 8Ps.
Yep.
Them engines were well known for failures such as bottom ends, also injector failures. I didn't want to go down that route.
No, of course.
I wanted to go different, and I put CZG out with preface into it.
Yeah, known to be a solid engine, that.
And it's been great. It's been absolutely great. I've had 2,000 miles up to now, fun.
We're running a hybrid turbo as well on this?
Yeah, TT 500 Plus, supplied by Dave Henderson. He supplied that to me, and it's straight bolt on. Okay.
What sort of power figures are we looking at with this? So it's a stock engine, TT 500, on a high 400 range?
At the moment at 480 horsepower.
Okay.
I've still got room for more improvement.
Yeah.
But I've been busy with other projects in the workshop. So
of course,
a little bit more time.
Yeah.
I'm going to get it on the dyno, try and extract a little bit more, and hopefully, if I can be around the 500, 520s, I'll be happy with that. We've got a front welly cooler installed on the car. We've got
custom
steel
piping.
boost pipes.
Yep. The fuel pump.
It's the APR high pressure pump. And we're also running the TTRS rear in-tank pump.
In terms of the exhaust?
We're running the stock downpipe that's catless, with 3-inch wide bend, so it joins the two downpipes into one single pipe all the way to the rear, and splits into a Y piece with a small silencer at the back, giving the twin tips. It's quite loud, but it's fun.
That's the main thing with the 5-cylinder, isn't it? I'm just making
the sound is immense, and I love it, as loud as it is on the motorway.
Yeah.
As soon as you get your foot down, big smile on your face.
That's what you want with something like this. It just adds the extra bit of character that the 2-litre will never really give. The CDL, as 2 litres go, it is a pretty characterful engine.
You can build the CDLs really well. There's 600-700 brakes all day long. Builds going on there.
I suppose this, you just wanted to just do something different here.
I just wanted different. The 5-cylinder sound is what sold me, and as soon as I bought an RS3 engine, Sam went and bought himself an RS3 himself.
In terms of the chassis, what upgrades had to go down to make it sort of...
Down on the running gear of the vehicle, we're running the RS3 subframe out of 8P.
Right.
We've got solid dog bone mount. We've got BC coilovers, Passat R36 bottom arms that are poly-bushed.
Right.
We've got the TTRS steering rack, inner tie rods and tie rods themselves. The RS3 8V hubs, RS4 knuckles, RS6 calipers, and RS3 8V facelift brakes. Brake disc on there. I'm running 4mm spaces just to clear the wheels from the caliper. The way it sits as well, it is got quite a sort of chunky stance, let's say. I mean, especially looking at from here. It definitely looks... some wider wings to sort that out. Essentially. Some wider wings will look cool on this thing. Once it gets into the body shop, to get the rest of it all tidied up and get a good spray job on there. Definitely. Which is the last thing it needs after winter. I suppose one thing we were saying as well off camera before, this is a car that you daily, isn't it? I daily the car. I beat it. I drive it hard and have a big smile on my face the minute I get in it. Best way. And it's fun. It's great. I love the MK6 R shell, and it's always been like a soft spot for me. Hence why I went and bought another one the minute I saw it.
Yeah.
I had to have it.
Makes sense, because the Mark 6 R was always that more exclusive R model. You don't really see many on the road, let alone one with a 5-cylinder noise coming out the back of it. In terms of interior, I've noticed some TTRS Recaro buckets, which itself are quite rare.
Correct, yes. This came out of a convertible TTRS. As soon as I saw them, I had to be all over it again.
Yeah, they got that.
Making a deal to get them straight in. I already had wingbacks in here, which from a Mark 5 R32.
Okay, yeah.
But these, they caught my eye, and I had to have them in.
So basically you swap some existing wingbacks for even more rarer ones, essentially. As you can see, got the pattern on them, that's how you can differentiate them with the TTRS stamp. We've got the RS3 gear lever as well, haven't we? Yeah, look at that with the suede.
We also into the back end of the vehicle where we're running the TTRS rear axle with the RS3 diff mounted into it from a facelift.
Right.
Daza. The ratio is a lot better on it, and in terms of that, that gives us a feeling of the car is a rear-wheel drive.
Right, okay.
If you throw it into the corners, it will swing out really well, lights up the back wheels more than the front.
So does it always feel like that, or is it just off depending on what mode you're in or traction?
Depending on what you're doing, if you've got traction off and you're coming into corners or straight lines, you'll feel that back end's always pushing harder.
Yeah, I suppose it's good to have something set up a bit different like that, because usually they're very front biased.
Really fun to drive, especially in and out of lanes, B roads, A roads, coming into tight bends. It's really nice to drive and it feels quite predictable. And also RS3 rear brakes on the rear from an 8P.
Yeah.
I think that sums up all the running gear.
Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty comprehensive list there. We are going to take this thing for a drive shortly. I think what we'll do though first, Dawood, is we'll have a little tour of the workshop.
So over here we do builds from anything from your general cars all the way up to your 1,000 horsepower supercars.
Yep.
This is a Audi S8 from our Scotland branch.
Okay.
750 horsepower. Here's my Evo 3.
Yeah, this is a beauty, isn't it?
So this Evo 3 again has been under conversion.
Right.
Pop the bonnet for you. So with the Evo 1, 2 and 3, the classics, the engine was always on the passenger side with the gearbox on the driver's side.
Oh yes.
And they're well known for crank walk. Now this car's been fully converted to an Evo 6 engine.
Okay.
Full Evo 6 wiring loop, Evo 9 turbo, the mounts have all been adapted to fit. Evo 7 rear diff.
Right.
And this is running roughly around 400 horsepower right now.
Yeah. It must be quite violent 400 horsepower though in something like this.
Traction control, no ABS, just 5 gears and an engine underneath it.
The way it is as well, it's very tidy looking. It just adds to the whole... Yeah. And Evo 3 is just a one for me personally.
It's the back end that does it for me on the Evo 3.
It's just really aggressive, isn't it? Yeah, look at that. But yeah, that's full on initial D-spec, that is. Got the original wheels back there too.
60,000 miles on the car, absolutely immaculate. Front to bottom, not a spot of rust anywhere on it.
Yeah, it's lovely, this is.
It's a good clean and he wants him to get it back on the road and enjoy it.
Definitely.
Which I'm hoping for him to do soon.
If I ever was to have an Evo 3 one day, it'd be that colour. Got another one here as well. Seems to be an endless supply of Evo 3s.
It's my first ever Evo 3 that I bought 8 years ago.
Right.
And I had that much fun in it, I blew it up the same night that I bought the car. What happened with this car was, as I was moving workshops, I didn't have space for it and I sold it.
Yeah.
And not long ago, around 2 years ago, I bought the car back. The plans are going to stay secret for now, but we're going to reveal something on the page. As soon as we're ready to go for it, we'll start releasing a little hint of information, and when the build is done, you're going to see it back on your channel.
Yeah. Trust me, I know the plans already, but I'm not going to share them, but this thing will be something special, trust me. Over there we've got quite an interesting caddy as well, haven't we? Do we want to reveal what the sketch with that is?
I'll give a short little brief view on it at the moment. I've not released any details on the internet. There's been very little information I've shown to people on what I'm doing on this.
Okay.
So I'm building this for a customer at the moment. It's going to be full Daza RS3 engine fitted into it.
Yeah.
At this moment in time, we've cut all the floor out and we've installed an RS3 saloon floor into it, so we can go four-wheel drive.
Okay.
It's a little messy in here, but it's still work in progress. But the rear axle is mounted, and we've got the car is sat on the RS3 rear axle and rear diff at the moment. So it's rolling on that.
Okay. Yeah, never thought I'd see the day with blades on a caddy, but it's an interesting one. So full Daza powered caddy. Yeah.
Will be in future.
Will be in future.
Soon coming.
Got an S3 on here. It's interesting to see because my RS3 is in the same colour as this. Just seeing the light, it shows, gives me a good look at my own paintwork, weirdly enough. He's got quite a refined idle. It is loud, but it's not vibrating in the cabin or anything like that. It's just interesting, man. Like, we've got RS3 converted Golfs. This is the second one we've done now in the space of like a month on the channel. If you are enjoying these reviews, by the way, make sure you are subscribing. I think we're on like 105k now. Channel's growing well. Follow my Instagram as well. What we'll do now, we'll get some revs. Right, so it's definitely very noisy. Let's finally get some GoPros all set up and take this thing for a drive, man. Right, people, so here we are in the Golf RS3. I'm on roads that I'm not really familiar with, so I'm not going to go max attack just yet. As I said, it's got a pre-facelift RS3 engine in it. Very different to the other one that we drove, I think 3 weeks ago. That was of course a Mark 7 R. But the actual 5-cylinder in that car was from the facelift. I know there's lots of back and forth, but they're very different cars. Mark 6 is essentially a Mark 5 platform, just a bit more modern. So yeah, this is like a bit of a taster. If I ever put a 5-cylinder in my Edition 30, if I ever kept it, this is what it would be like with a 4-wheel drive conversion. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. I'm gonna try and just review it as it is, because it's hard to really compare it to anything. The one complaint I have with the pre-facelift RS3 is that it's quite numb to drive. I mean, I'm a big RS3 fanboy, but I will admit that that car is not the best in the handling department. The Mark 6 R is a lot better, but let's see if that actually is more of the engine's weight issue or the chassis. But yeah, we're gonna basically find some more twisty roads and see how it goes. Do some downshifts here. I got DQ 500 box. I am noticing it is quite rear biased, so I'm gonna basically feed in the power. Don't want to put myself into a hedge. Right, we've got a nice bridge, yeah, very nice bridge. It's an interesting sound. It's basically got that deeper iron block noise to it, which you normally expect from this engine. But you know, the ASBO pumps and bangs, they've kind of been tuned to be a bit more of an overrun now. Because as you know, the 2015 RS3 just lets off gunshots from the factory. It's just always been that kind of car. It's probably a bit more livable, you could say. It's like we're having a tour of Manchester today. Never been on these roads in my life, but here we are. Yeah. Oh, we've got some countryside here. Builds up at the top end. If you don't ring out, you won't really experience the full power. Bit of a screamer, to be fair. Yeah, all the tricks are there as well. Definitely around 500 horsepower. See, I think 480, 500 horsepower is a sweet spot for this kind of chassis. You can always have more power, it's just up to you if you want to get more. But I think for me, I'm glad it's at this power level to begin with, especially with quite a rear bias setup. I've never thought this would be the case, but here we are. Dawood mentioned at the start of the video in the introduction, this car has still got a bunch of tweaking to do, and even in its current state, I gotta be honest, it's pretty much there. A few bits like exhaust drone, little bits here and there, it doesn't really matter for the drive. Like, you can still get a good feel for it. It's definitely quick. Yeah, when cruising, it's totally like, I mean, apart from the crazy sound, it behaves like a Golf when you want it to. Changes up gear in 5th gear already. DQ 500 acts as a DQ 500 would. Right, so we're just slowing down now because we're in a built-up area. Just gives me time to reflect. So I know the question's probably going to come up, like how does this actually compare to one, a Mark 6 R, and second of all, a pre-facelift RS3. The interesting thing I've noticed with this is that the other kind of nose heaviness of a pre-facelift RS3, obviously is mainly due to the engine, that hasn't really shown up in this car. So from as far as I'm concerned, the Mark 6 R chassis seems to deal with the engine better. Like in that car, it was always a bit loose. At high speed, you didn't really know what was happening. They fixed it all in the facelift, mind you, like the one I've got. It's a totally different car. In terms of comparing it to a Mark 6 R now, a Mark 6 R essentially is a bit like a four-wheel drive edition 30. I know the CDL is a bit different, but it's a TFSI. So, I mean, TFSI I know pretty well. The engine, a 5-cylinder engine always dominates the car, so apart from what you're sitting in and the slightly better handling, it does feel a lot like an RS3 as well. But yeah, maybe I'm just talking nonsense as well, who knows. Just enjoy the sound, to be fair, that's all I'm going to say. See here, like, even at these kinds of speeds, you would feel the looseness in a pre-facelift. Nothing here, all good. Alright, let's put it, let's try and launch it. There we go. Okay, definitely kicks out the back, we'll put that back on. Quick, and no vagueness at speed, that's what I love. Yeah, it's interesting, like I've always liked RS3s and we've done RS3 reviews on this channel. Then we started doing golf projects. Now we've got to this strange place where we've got RS3 engines in Golfs. I don't know how we got here, but you know, here we are. As a police officer goes past thinking, why does this guy have a camera on his head? Right folks, I think what we'll do, that was a good bit of fun in the Mark 6 RS3. See, flows now the name as well. Yeah, hope you enjoyed these kind of first impressions stroke review. I'm sure we'll be back up at Eurospec in the future as well to try a few more of their builds. Make sure you drop a like on the video if you did enjoy it. My concluding thoughts are, this engine just works in this platform. It's got none of the sort of drawbacks that the pre-facelift RS3 would have, or did have, sorry. But yeah, make sure you subscribe for all the content coming up. I'll leave a link to Eurospec's Instagram in the description as well. But yeah, take care guys, I'll see you in the next video.